those in power in the legislature, in the Congress, who just kind of went along with it because it served their purpose, all for, some power and just willing to tear up anything and everything. I don't know. I don't know. It's still playing out. So it's kind of hard to, and I think it's going to go on for a few days. We're going to be dealing with probably a few weeks, is going to be
years.
Yeah. From this are going to be, we're not going to forget this again. I keep coming back to this thing. I'm like, I remember growing up as a kid and I would see people, in other countries, in a place long, long ago, far away somewhere, ancient history and something that could never happen here. Yeah. And then here it is. We have become that country that I would see and would almost feel comfortable like, oh my, I can sit back and relax because it's never going to happen here. And it's been here all the while. And now it's kind of rearing its head. But there's my minister spiritual folk would tell me that, you know what, something fights the hardest right before it dies. And this could be the last gasping breath. I got to at least act like I believe it and keep my eye out for it. But
it's sad. I heard someone say that they visited one of the countries, and when they were about to leave, one of the citizens came up and said, "Yankee, go home and take me with you." And I mean, that's how people looked at the United States, as that beacon. And it's sad to say that has that's, I think, the traumatic thing that we're going to have to deal with, those of us of age who remember better times for the next couple of years,
right? Next
couple of elections.
Right. When people were talking about, we were the pillar of democracy. We were the ones going everywhere else and showing everyone else how to be. This is part of what set us apart. Yep. How we were able to rise, aside from all the other stuff we took and stole and beat and shot and killed, aside from all of that. But what we did at home, at least, what we looked like we were doing at home, the democracy, was the thing that people were looking to try to emulate. And then and now you got this. And now this all in. I mean, it's easy to dismiss it and say all in 4 years, but we know better. For a minute, Chief. I mean, this is crazy.
It is, and one of the questions I have for you, Leonard, is: do you see a healing point? How long does it take to heal? For example, do you see any of the angst on either side of this issue subsiding to the point where we may be able to, find some common ground? Do you see that from a mental health perspective?
That's the point. The common ground needs to be established. I heard someone say the other day that we've been affected for the next generation, and we've got to think of the children and younger folks who are coming up and look to see if they're that salvation, if they are the ones who can join together to push this agenda. And I'm talking about this American experiment to push this forward, because right now there's been some serious damage done. And we use the word trauma. This whole country has been traumatized during these last 5 years. And so to that extent, it's going to take a while for us to come out of it. Never mind the issues surrounding mental health treatment, and there are many. One of them is that for last 20 years, mental health has been trying or seeking parity with physical health and what goes on as far as the payment and all of that. So we're still struggling with that. You have managed care, which is managing some of the benefits that a lot of folks have. you have a lot of people who have lost that connection because they've lost the job during the pandemic. So yeah, there's going to be a need to restructure the whole mental health approach so that everybody can get the help that they need. And that's going to take some time.
And so when you combine that with this whole COVID piece, I know that can't help with the mental health outlook for the country.
No, it's all a part of that traumatization that has occurred. It includes the concerns that we had with racial disparity, which is one of the things that has been impacting Black mental health to that extent. But, when you layer on COVID, when you layer on what is going on in the government, you have a country that's in the state of trauma.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so what types of things would you, well, let me take that back. Where do you start in terms of the process to get people out of that Kool-Aid state of mind, if you will, that you just mentioned?
Yeah. It has to, from my perspective, it has to start with those people who understand the legal part of this democracy.
Okay.
And can talk about that, uncut, mm-hmm. straight, no mm-hmm. chasers. Mm-hmm. They need to be able to do that. And that, and I'm talking about not being politically correct at uh-huh. sometimes, that we give it to them the way it needs to be given it to. See, one of the things that I'm aware of is that we have hidden a lot of stuff from the American people and not had faith in their ability to adjust. I'm just going to take the pandemic, to give us the real information about the pandemic. We would have been able to deal with that and make the adjustments that just as we have in the past. And so I think it begins with our legal representatives, political representatives being honest about where we're at. And we go from there. When they're honest, then they start giving support where it's needed. So some of the money that's needed for people to get the mental health treatment that they need and substance abuse treatment that they need then becomes more available. I'm thinking that this new generation, this new administration has that certainly on their minds, how to heal. So it's going to start at the top. I have actually had this discussion with the vice president-elect when she was here in the city, and it is one of her focuses. Mental health is one of her key agenda items.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Wendell, are you logged on Facebook?
Am I? I am.
Uh-huh. We have a couple of questions up there. Well, comments more than questions.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. Yeah, we got some of the folks, and then we know all of. Well, I guess we know all of. Not everybody in the group is. I don't know though. I'm trying to think because one of the comments was they can't accept that all of there's too many of them out there to say that all of them have mental health issues. But I don't know. I think it's about degrees in this particular, in this crazy world that we live in, if you come to accepting some of this stuff as normal, you got to have some degree of something wrong with you. I mean, the way we've managed to get along in this country. I mean, with all the craziness that we see. I mean, people who, a country that at its inception somehow justified that it's okay to make some people not human, to look at people as not human, to make them, property and things like that at the country's inception. I mean, they're like ignoring that. I mean, there has to be some kind of something. I don't know what you call it. I mean,
but it's like they added a whole nother party. Like you have the Democrats, you have the Republicans, then you have the Trumpers. Like they have like their own party.
Right. Which really started bubbling up as the Tea Party before. And then it kind of eased into that birthers thing. And now it's just blown. He, again, as I said, he is the dude singing their songs. He's like, he is like that. He is just singing their greatest hits and they're having a ball listening to him. And they came
listening to him. No matter what it is, they're all in.
This was their crazy ass Woodstock. For them, where he was singing all their songs, and I just don't know how you
don't drink the
Kool-Aid. This is beyond entitlement and privilege. This is just straight up, they're showing their hand all the way. I mean, they're going all the way out, and it's hard to get to a part or a place of healing. I think if people are unwilling to acknowledge what it is they're doing. How do you get folks to acknowledge that? I had a friend when I was in the legislature and we were trying to do some stuff, and I have to clean it up because the way he told me was straight no chaser for real. But he said it's hard to explain the truth when dumb Maryland farmers want to believe a lie. I mean, that's pretty much what he said. And it's harsh. But it's real. It's raw, but it's real. You can't explain the truth to somebody if they're so vested in the lie. And these folks are invested in this crap that they believe that is just crazy. I mean, it's been, refuted at every angle. The election was, they dragged it through the courts. They tried to, everything. First, they took it to the election. People voted. What it is, they took it to the all of their legal options. He weighed and tried to do that, and they moved that out. He tried to stack the court and thought he was going to get some help with that. He tried to get Pence to say, "Hey, you're going to step in the last minute and save me." And this is crazy. I don't know. There's no explanation for it. I mean, it's, and whatever happens, if we whatever happened with the other election, the second Senate election, did they even get to finish that yet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, yes. They did?
Yes. Yeah, he won.
He won. Okay. So now the country is like 50-50, literally.
Right.
50-50 with a
tiebreaker.
A tiebreaker, but still 50-50. When's the last time it's been like that? So this is just it's the country is split in half, quite literally.
Literally.
And so where do we go from here? Where do we go? How do we rebuild? As people always talk about our better angels. But I don't know. If you can't, I have a hard time trying to figure out how, and I'm one who's big on healing and trying to, get along and reaching across the aisles and talking to people, and let's figure out where the similarities are, and then we can work with that, because we got more of those and we have differences, and figure out what it is. But if you're not going to acknowledge, if you're not going to acknowledge the basic facts, and if you're going to twist and turn all of that stuff, then I'm really not interested. What we got to talk about? I mean, how are we going to heal from there? So I don't know. I don't know what how we manage to move through this. As I said, this is just, it's been brewing for such a while, but how do you get beyond it? Do you just kind of keep moving and ignore them and then, let them fall by the wayside? But, as I look at, aside from 9/11, all the worst things that have happened in America have been by Americans. Pretty much. I mean, the whole institution of slavery, the Timothy McVeigh blowing up, the joint in Oklahoma. I mean, all of the other crazy stuff that has happened has been by people in this country. Our greatest threat seems to always be from the inside, not so much not the outside. And then this is not to mention, as we're going through all of this. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but if that ain't a super spreader event in the middle of a pandemic,
yep,
you got all these people, no mask, no nothing, just grabbing on. Of course, they're grabbing on each other. That's fine, because None of us.
On top of Christmas, on top of New Year's.
Yeah. And then you got idiotness. You got ridiculousness. And they ain't getting tested. They ain't tested because they don't believe it.
Because they don't believe it.
They don't believe it.